Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor and I'm your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. Are you ready to get cheesy? Are you ready to go real cheesy with me? We're going to talk about nature and we're going to talk about metaphors, and they're so obvious that I'm not saying anything new or inventive here, but I just want you to come on this journey with me because I was on a hike this morning and I didn't set out to do the hike that I did. And so I didn't process this until I was like in the exact location where I looked around, and suddenly I was like, oh, I have a picture in this exact same spot from over the summer. And these were fields of wildflowers. And so then I looked closer at all of like the brush around me, and it was not actually brush. I mean, it was dead flowers. It was all of the flowers I had previously seen and have pictures of. It's like Albion Basin. It's this beautiful, the flowers are unreal. And now today it was so pretty, but the flowers were dead. And instead we were looking up at the trees and looking at all the leaves changing, and there was snow starting, and the clouds are beautiful and still stunningly beautiful. But I hadn't even noticed until I realized I was in the exact same spot, all of the dead flowers around me. So I tried to take the same picture in both places. And I was just looking, like flashing back and forth of the vibrancy of these flowers that were once there and now they're all dead. And how can you not see the metaphor in that? I mean, I know that I'm a little bit insufferable and I think about everything too much and I turn everything into something. But this, it was just blaring in my face of the change. And here's the thing. This is why like seasons are so metaphorical, like times and seasons and phases of life. But a few things stood out to me. One, no man was intervening in this process. Like these are untouched wildflowers up in mountain valleys. And so it's not like in your yard when you like trim a bush, and there's other metaphors there when we like take care of plants and cultivate the land to grow things. But these wildflowers happen spontaneously, and now they're dead, and next summer they will be back. And it doesn't actually require any human intervention. That's just what the earth is doing. The earth, to me, is just such an incredible, it's the most divine example of constant change. Nature is never stagnant. It is constantly changing. It's in constant movement. And I think as humans, sometimes we fight against change so deeply, or we think in order to change, we have to do such extreme interventions. Like we just have to control it so much or to make it happen. And I'm just wondering, because we are organic beings, and we see the process from birth to death. Like our bodies are constantly decaying from the day that we're born, right? Like we see the aging process and we see that change. But I just wonder how much of our personal change and growth and evolution and phases and seasons doesn't actually require us to control it or to force it or to make it happen. And if we just allowed our natural progression to evolve, what would that look like? And when I look at nature and when I look at the earth, to me, that is divinity in its purest form being played out. And so I like to look at the earth as an example of what divinity is capable of without intervention. And I think that our bodies and ourselves, we're part of that creation. We're part of that same divine creation, that same divine plan. And so if we allow it and we don't fight against it, and I know this is like the most overdone metaphor, so I'm not saying anything new, but sometimes we're going to be in our fields of wildflowers, and sometimes it's going to be cloudy and rainy and everything's dead. And I think that sometimes we panic when we're in the dead stage, when we're in the brown, shriveled up, that will never bloom again. But what if instead we just trusted the process? What if instead we just trusted divine progression? What if we trusted the fact that we are organic, divinely created beings who will follow the same patterns of nature? What would that look like? And then the other part that I really liked is, even though all these dead flowers were around me, like I said, I hadn't even noticed that there were dead flowers around me because of the beauty that was there. The pine trees, the changing leaves, the clouds in the sky. It was stunning. It was beautiful. So I didn't even notice the dead stuff. It was just other beauty had pulled focus. And I guess for myself, I just wanted to, one, not be so afraid in my dead flower stage that I'll never bloom again, to trust that progression and that progress, that it will come again. Two, give myself permission that you don't bloom full all the time. I think the constant changing of nature is one of the things that keeps me most present. And three, when I'm in a dead flower stage, what beauty am I missing if I focus on the fact that there's dead flowers? Am I looking up? Am I seeing all the other things that this whatever current stage phase that I'm in has to offer? Or am I just so fixated on the loss or the change of the dead flowers that I can't see all the other incredible stuff that's coming? For me, it was really powerful to understand myself as a similar divine creation as the earth, and to trust that those processes that we witness in nature are actually present in ourselves if we allow it. And maybe we don't have to control it and force it so often. And instead we can watch it play out and embrace each season and look for the beauty and then trust that another season will come. And it makes everything a lot less scary to me. So I guess just trust your divine creation and look to the earth to teach you about it. So I hope you go outside today, and I hope you let it teach you something. What a thrill. What a gift to live on an earth that we live on, to witness what we get to witness, to learn from it. I really think it can be our greatest teacher. What a gift. Love you so much. Bye.